Monroe.
Can I just look? Yes, Red, do it. Yes. This is amazing.
This is fantastic.
Can this be my every Saturday? This is ladies.
So I want you guys to know that Robin and I are friends in real life.
Yes.
Too, so that's like exciting.
Yeah, so this is about to be a bunch of inappropriate. Can we curse? Great.
Oh, thank God.
Fuck Donald Trump. Okay. Just seeing where you at. All right. And R. Kelly while we at it. Okay, let's move on.
Ooh, so many names. How do we get through them all?
Listen, Linda, listen. If anyone has seen my show, they know I don't play. And I'm very, very open about my opinions. But tonight I am so excited because Ashley is just, you guys have seen her in so many things. She's so talented. This season of Dear White People, who has seen it?
Yay!
It is so incredible. And I was just telling her backstage, can I tell them the bet we made or no? Is that bad luck?
Tell them the bet.
I made a $5 bet that they will be nominated for an Emmy this year. And I told her the only other time I've made that bet was last year at this conference in Chicago with Lena Waithe, who won
an Emmy. Yeah. So okay, Robin.
So I got a good track record. I'm just saying.
Okay.
But no, tonight we want to talk about something that's really important no matter what industry you're in, no matter what you do. And it's the subject of passion versus purpose. Okay? So we all know what passion is, right? Passion is something you feel in your soul, in your heart. It's something that you cannot live without. Whether you follow it as a career or not, passion is something that burns inside of you. You cannot live without this thing. Whether it's what you do for a living, whether it's your hobbies, whether it's your family, whether it's your man, whether it's not your man, whatever it is, the passion that you feel is something that feels like warm and fiery, right?
Yeah.
But purpose, I think people often confuse with passion.
Yes.
So do you want to give your definition of purpose, and then we'll start to kind of break it down?
So the reason this kind of became a big topic of discussion for me and something that I really wanted to communicate, particularly to women of color, was because so many people, I've wanted to act and do what I'm doing my entire life. I know that most people kind of figure that out later in life, but since I was a young girl, I always knew I wanted to act. And so many people would be like, but how did you know? And part of it I think was I just knew, and it was just innate. But I figured out very early on that my passion was different from my purpose. I believe that my purpose is why I was sent here. It's why God put me on this earth. It's something that I have to do. It's the mission that I have to fulfill. My passion is I like really good wine, and I like to.
Okay, so I have it backwards a little bit.
I have it. That's for me. I believe things that I'm passionate about are like hanging out with my friends and going on vacation and being a good person and all of those things. But I'm purposed to ignite a fire in people through my work, to be a mother, to be a wife, to change the world. That's what I'm purposed to do, because the difference is what my purpose is. We don't have a choice in that. A passion we have a choice in. And I think that the sooner we differentiate the two, then the sooner we can really live the lives that we were sent here to live. Wow. And I'm really grateful that I learned that early on. And I think that you are someone who's realized what your purpose is versus your passion, maybe.
Well, you know what's interesting? I think, is it possible to have them be the same thing? Because I'm somebody who's bad at everything except for the one thing I do.
So here's the thing.
Comedy is the only thing I can do. I'm bad at math. I can't balance a checkbook. I can't walk and chew gum. What do you think about that? Can they be the same thing?
So am I also passionate about acting? Sure. But I think acting is such a good example because if I weren't purposed to be an actress, I probably wouldn't do it because it's so hard.
It's very hard.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
Like, why would I just choose to live a life of daily rejection and,
Right.
never knowing when the check is gonna come in? Like, who would just choose that willy-nilly? And I think those who do, sometimes that's why they kind of fade to black a little bit from it, because it's not what they were purposed to do. It's something they're just passionate about.
Now I get it. Okay, so
Yeah.
passion, let's take acting for example.
Okay.
So if you're passionate about acting, you like the glitz and the glam of it, it seems really attractive to you. But if you're not eating, living, breathing it, waking up knowing that's the only thing you can do, then it's not your purpose.
It's not even that it's the only thing I can do. It's what I'm supposed to do. It's why I'm here. It's the way in which I will ignite.
Did you hear what she
change.
said? It cut out
Sorry,
at a
did you
very
guys hear
critical
me?
time.
I said it's not that your purpose is the only thing you can do. It's what you were sent here to do. I want to make that very clear.
Right.
Because we were all sent here for a purpose.
So you can choose your passion, but you can't choose your purpose.
I believe that.
There we go. Okay.
I really believe that.
Yeah.
And it's different for all of us. Some people, it's like Barack Obama's purpose was to be like the first black president. Like that is a extremely grandiose purpose. Right. And some of us, it's to be like a great mom. Right. Some of us, it's to be on television. Right. Some of us, it's to write a book. It doesn't, but I think that it requires some soul searching and some really, thinking about what it is and not to be discouraged about it, right? Like I said, there's a lot of things I'm passionate about, but there's not many things I was sent here to do. There's a difference.
Okay, so let's talk about defining purpose and knowing when you're sent here to do something.
Yeah.
What was that moment that you had where it clicked for you, where you said, oh, okay, I was meant to do this. I was sent here to do this.
I think it was early on when I was living in LA, and it just was so hard. And it was just, and I realized I had a lot of friends at that time who had left, and I had realized although it's gotten really hard, I've never thought about leaving. I've been through so much and at the bottom, but I never thought about leaving. And I do think part of it is I have a natural resilience, but the other part was I realized I can't, I have to do this. This is, like I said, this is why I'm here. I'm not an actor because it's super fun and I love the glitz and the glamour. That's not, there might be some people who are, but that's just not, like I said, as you know, Robin, it's such a hard industry and business to be in. But I think that's what it was. And I really sat down and really, I made a list of things that I really like to do, things that make me happy, and the things that I feel like are gonna make me ignite change and change the world. And not only change the world, but change me, make me more impactful.
And I think that is the key. I think when you're finding your purpose, you need to find that thing that is selfless and that thing that is going to change not only yourself, but others as well. Yeah. And I think that's when you know you're on the right path to
That's
purpose.
when you know you're on the right path.
And I think people in here know that, but I think it's hard to identify. So I'm trying to pick out that moment, right? I'm trying to pick out that aha moment that you have where you're like, okay. Because there's so many of us who are told, right? You should go to law school. You should go to business school. You should go open a beauty shop. You should go do whatever. Do a podcast. Just whatever the things are that people tell you who think they know your purpose. And they're just trying to encourage you. But at the same time, they may not know what your purpose actually is. You're the only one that can identify that.
You're the only one. I mean, for me, I think it's hunkering down in prayer. I think that it is, I think that it's knowing that, I think a lot of times people look over their purpose because it's difficult. And they decide.
Wait a minute, say that again.
They look over their purpose because it's difficult. It requires a lot of them and from them. Yeah. So sometimes we'll take that purpose and we'll stuff it in the passion category, because things that we're passionate about, we don't have to do every day. We don't have to have a fervor behind. We can just do it when we want to do it, or be excited about when we're excited about it. But when it's in that purpose category, you can't ignore it. You can't push it to the side.
I'm about to give you a story I have not thought about in 15 years.
Okay, let's hear it.
And what you just said made me remember this moment, and I have not thought about it. I swear to God, this is not planned. We actually planned none of this because we're friends and whatnot.
We did.
But I was on the train in Chicago. I went to Northwestern University, and I went to hi. And then I went to Second City after I graduated and was studying improv and sketch. And I was on the train. And I was about to move out to LA. And I had maybe $2,000, which for me at that time was a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm doing it.
I think I moved to LA with like $800.
Right. So I was on the train and I was saying a prayer just to myself. My eyes were open, but I was kind of just thinking and kind of talking to God. And I said, am I going to be an overnight success? Because at that point, I was thinking, well, I've done all this stuff in Chicago, and I was like the youngest black woman to do X&O in Chicago, and I was like, all right, I conquered Chicago. Now I can go take on LA, and I'm going to be famous immediately, right? Being famous is always the wrong reason to do something. Yeah. But I was like, I'm going to go take my one-woman show and do all these characters and get on SNL or do whatever. I just had this whole thing planned out. And I said, I felt this like kind of peace, and I felt this moment where people say they heard a voice. I didn't hear an actual man's voice, but I had a sense of hearing, well, what do you want? Do you want to be famous immediately? Or do you want a long, fulfilled career in 10 years? And I thought about that. And I was like, why am I considering that as a choice? Why are those my only two choices? And this man turned around right in front of me, and his shirt just said 10.
I'm about to throw this mic.
I kid you not. And I'm like about to cry thinking about it because I have not thought about it till I sat on this couch with you. And it said 10. And 10 years almost to the day, I got on as a writer-performer on a show on Fox with Avion Crockett and Jamie Foxx. And that was really what set my career rolling. I was working and I was doing well and I was paying rent.
But it was the thing that
But propelled. It was the thing. And most people did not know me until The Nightly Show, to be honest, when I had already been in the business 12 or 13 years. But 10 years was when I got my first big network show. And I committed to that. And that was what kept me in LA because I knew, I never forgot those 10 years. I never forgot it, but I haven't thought about that story in so long.
That's crazy.
And I think that is a moment of clear purpose. I think that is a moment where you're told, here's what you're gonna get, but it's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be what you think. And you're gonna have to do a lot of fucking work to get it.
It's a lot of work, and it's not gonna happen like the way that you think it's going to. It's funny, we had a really cool Emmy consideration event at the Paley Center, which is like this renowned center in Los Angeles, and a young woman stood up in the audience. We just did this it was like the cast of Dear White People and our creator, Justin. And a young woman stood up in the audience and said, I'm an entrepreneur, and I have this business, but like, I don't know, like, how do I go full force with this business that I want to do, but also like pay my bills? And that was and I'm sure some of you women in this audience, I still try to figure that out too sometimes. But I told her, we talked about the passion versus purpose thing, and that really resonated with her. But I also told her, you have to remove the shame from it. Because if you're going after your dream or something, your purpose to do, you might not pay that bill on time. You might not be able to see every friend as frequently as you did before. You might not be able to be at every family function in the same engaged way as you were before. But there will be a time, I just got chills, there will be a time when it will all come back around, and you'll be like, wow, my bills have been paid on time for the past 30 years. That's crazy. Or, wow, I was able to buy my mother a home. Or, wow, I was able to, whatever it may be. But you have to let go of the shame, because so many of us do not go after that dream because we don't want to have the shame of not being able to live at what we view as our highest level. But you can't live at your highest frequency and your highest level if you're not doing what you were sent here to do. So if that means I don't pay my Amex bill on time, fine. Because you know what can be rebuilt? Credit. You know what can't be rebuilt? A spirit or time or spirit that feels like they never fulfilled their purpose. But I also want to tell you a quick story. So I'm sitting there on that panel with Justin, who is a dear friend of mine and the writer, creator of Dear White People, someone who, I was in Dear White People with the movie with 3 lines in the background, like, hey guys, whatever. And here we are, talking about Joelle in a season 2. And so he's sitting there, he's like, Ashley, should we tell them the story? And it was like similar audience like this. And I was like, yeah, we should. So I was in my email, and who knows who Lena Waithe is? Is that right? So So Lena is one of my best friends. Also, Justin's one of my best. So we're all like really good friends. And so I was in my email looking to send, this is like 2 weeks ago, looking to send something to Lena. Like I was like Googled her, not Googled, but like searched her name in my inbox. And I don't know why this email popped up from 2014, I think it was. But it was an email from Lena sent to me, which was, so you guys know what like EDD is, or like the uninsured, like
unemployment.
Unemployment,
Yeah.
right? Unemployment insurance, right? So like when you don't have a job, like you're trying to get unemployment, which is like $800 every 2 weeks or something. It's like no money.
Oh, I was on it in 2009.
Yeah, no, we've been on it.
I got $418 every 2 weeks.
Yeah, so it's like no money, but like when you're struggling, everyone was trying to like get, unemployment. And so the email was from Lena like, hey girl, this is the trick to get through the Vietnamese line so that you can get your unemployment faster. And then I was like, thanks girl, I'm about to send this to Justin.
I love it.
And I forwarded it to Justin.
Love it.
And I was like, Justin,
Yes.
get your money, black man, because,
Yes. And the three of y'all were sharing unemployment scams. I love it. I love it. If y'all don't hear that message.
No, I'm serious. But my point to you is that this was 4 years ago.
What?
This was, Lena has an Emmy and can't even keep up with her. Justin got a million shows, about to do a movie. I'm on Justin's show now. Like, it goes to show you, but we didn't stop. If we had to share, there was no shame in that. I'm sharing it with hundreds of women. I don't care, because if that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do.
Absolutely.
Yes. That's a real story. And those are the things that people don't like to talk about.
Right.
And that is why I am an advocate for telling the truth. It's also why I'm very passionate about telling my real age. Because if you don't know how old I am, then you don't know what I've been through.
Right.
If you think that I'm 21 and just moved to LA.
Right.
No, I've been in LA for almost 9 years.
Right.
That I'm not an overnight success. A lot of you
Correct.
watch Hello Cupid. Lena and I came up with that because we didn't have any other jobs. We weren't working. And I was like,
well, you know what? And that's a great point. So you talk about your community, right? And I know you guys, I hear you guys talk about this all the time. And that's another thing too. I think it's twofold, right? Your community has to support your purpose and your grind. Yeah. And they have to know that when you are feeling ashamed, that they have to lift you up and support you. Yeah. The thing I always tell people, if you're a writer, a director, a business owner, whatever, never put aspiring in front of it.
Never.
Why?
Never.
Why? You're it. You are that. Don't be like, well, I don't have an Oscar. What? That doesn't mean you're not a director.
Or nobody knows who I am yet.
Who cares? Yeah.
There was a day when I thought nobody knew who I was, and I was okay with that, and now I'm at Summit 21, and all of you know what I mean? There was a time that nobody knew who I was.
Well, but then listen,
it didn't matter. It didn't matter.
And even when people do know who you are, they don't care. Will Smith tells that story about being on the golf course, and a white man and his wife came up to him and said, can we take a picture, or will you take a picture? And he said, sure. He tried to get in the picture, and the white man didn't know who he was. He was like, no, take it to me and my wife.
No, but
like, this is what I'm saying. None of that means anything. None of it means anything.
And that's not why we're doing
it. And at the end of the day, if you're not following that purpose, you're right. It's going to be an empty pursuit. So I think you have to engage your community and get them to follow your purpose with you, alongside you. And do you think it helps to have like-minded people who are doing the same sorts of things? Or do you think they just need to believe in your dream?
They just need to believe in your dream. Like, all of my friends are not actors or in the business at all. But something else I want to impart upon you all is that if you are living in your purpose and following your purpose, there's no way you can fail. It's success is inevitable. It might feel scary, but know that you can't fail because it's why you're here. We can't fail at why we're here. It's impossible. God didn't send us here to not fulfill our purposes. So have faith in that. Have solace in that. And I just hope that if any of you are struggling with really feeling like you are nervous about going full throttle with what you feel you are meant to do, then I hope you leave here today and do it. Because Robin and I are great examples of women who took huge leaps of faith and were rewarded for that.
Yeah, for sure. Look, it's something I call.
Are we gonna do questions?
Are we doing questions? Okay,
great.
I
want
just
to
want
talk
to
to
say
you
one
guys.
thing.
Okay, yeah, Robin. Okay,
I just
2 minutes.
Really quickly.
Oh gosh, darn it!
What? All right.
Me out.
This is so stressful.
God.
It's Summit 21, not stressful 21. Just piggybacking on what she said, it's something that I call reckless confidence. In 2009, I had $7 to my name and no jobs in sight. I was convinced that I was going to be a late night show host. I didn't know how I was going to get there. I did it through my writing. I did it through my performing. But at the end of the day, I did it through many, many, many different jobs. And by the time I was working hand in hand with Jon Stewart and Larry Wilmore and Chris Rock, it seemed like I was always supposed to be there. So my dream, coming from a trailer park in the Midwest, made no sense. It made no sense for me. But I had reckless confidence, the confidence that was so reckless that said, I'm not getting another job. Now, I don't fault people if they get, a day job. Like,
I've had 22 survival jobs.
Correct.
To note that.
But what I did was I said, I'm going to make myself hungry until I do the work. Because I needed that kick in the pants. Not everybody is like that.
Yeah.
I am a procrastinator. I am not standing here perfect, and I've always been great and whatever. I'm somebody who was like, I don't want to do it. Yeah. Okay? And so I made myself starve until I did it. That's what I had to do. I'm not saying that's for everybody, but that's going to speak to a couple people in here, because I think you hear a lot of these messages that are like, all you have to do is just keep going, keep going. I didn't feel like going anywhere.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah, and if you're uncomfortable, you're in the sweet spot.
Right. And so I had to be like, I have no food.
Yeah.
I need to write a joke and go find a comedian who will buy it.
So I can eat. So I can
Correct.
sustain
I
myself.
sold jokes for $50 a pop at the Comedy Store like a prostitute.
Yes, and look at you now,
And look at me
classy
now.
and plaid. Yes.
And look at me now. Just a record-holding
Okay, so we have
comedian.
two questions.
All right, 2 questions.
I'm so stressed.
Are we picking them?
Well, she's.
Oh my God, I don't
Well,
want to.
she popped up really.
Okay, she was first. Okay.
With the glasses and the red.
Yes, red, come through.
Yes.
Power color. Okay, all right, second red, you got it.
Yeah, second red. With the yes, kente cloth. Yes. Okay.
Hi, thank you for being here and talking about purpose. My name is Destiny. I'm from Boston. So my question is for anyone who feels like they are at a tipping point or they feel a transition in their lives. So can you speak to a time or give a piece of advice to any of us who feel like we are stepping into our purpose but still have something that we need to let go of? Ooh. Like, if talk about maybe a family member or a memory or something that you've had to peel off of yourself in order to really step into your purpose.
Listen. What? Listen. Here's the thing. We've all had significant others, sisters, cousins, mothers, fathers, friends who tell you, well, here's what people do. I won't even say what they say. I'll tell you why they do it. You express your dream to them, and they express their fears to you. You express your dream to them, and they express their fears to you. The moment that happens, bye. Bye. Now, I'm not saying bye like cut people off and mom, I'm never going to talk to you again. I'm saying you need to surround yourself like this community that she's talking about, and the communities that make you feel, when someone says, this is my dream, when you say, this is my dream, they say, how can I help you get there? And that is easier said than done, and it may only be one person, and that person may only be your reflection in the mirror. But what will happen is, every time you speak that dream out loud, you will attract people to you who support that dream. And if you continue, and I am all for letting people go who are not meant to be there. And the sooner I've never done it and felt worse. I've only done it and felt better. It's hard to do, but you know what the worst feeling is? The feeling right before you do it. And that sense of anxiety and that place that you're living in where you're like, oh, this person is really on me, but I love them so much. It doesn't matter. You can love them. You can love them, but they will keep you from your purpose, and that does not do the world any good because you have a purpose to help other people. And that's selfish of you to let those people tell you what you can and cannot do. When I was moving from Second City, I went to LA, and they said, you're not SAG yet. You're not in the Screen Actors Guild yet. You're not going to make it. And I said, that's your fear. That's not my fear. I was SAG within 3 months. Like, what do you mean? So I think that's one of the most important things is distinguishing, because look, you don't have to let everybody go. I have friends who have been like, I had to cut everybody out. It's like, no, you went a little too far. But but I think if you can identify the people who express their fears back to you when you express your dreams and your hopes, I think that'll help you kind of weed people out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Robin said it all, but for me, something that I started being more conscious of was my energy. And I mean in a real way, like being aware of how people made me feel whether it was through conversations, interactions, when I walked into a room. And especially women, we have an acute sense of intuition that people try to tell us we don't have, but we do. Humans,
and we ignore it all
and we
the
ignore
time.
it. Humans have intuition because that's how we survive. But women have a little extra.
And black women.
And black women got a little bit more, okay? So I say all that to say, tap into that. I don't know where you are, I see you. Tap into that. The people who feel their energy is incongruent with yours and not in alignment with what you're trying to do,
y'all better get that big word, incongruent.
they have to go. They have to go because nothing and nobody can hold you back from what you have to do. And again, remove the shame from it.
That is such a big deal. That's such a big deal.
There's no shame in choosing yourself.
Yes.
They try to tell us that too.
Yeah.
Choose yourself, girl. Bye. They gotta go. So many people, they gotta go.
And guess what? They'll be back.
Yeah.
They'll be back.
Or
I see you're doing good.
Or it has to go. The reason I had quickly, I want to say before we get to the next question, the reason I had so many jobs, survival jobs, was because when it didn't work for me, I left. I wasn't trying to build a retail resume. I'm an actor. I didn't care if they were going to give me a bad write. I didn't care because that's not what I was there for. Once it felt incongruent, once it did not correlate with what my purpose was, I left and got another job and tried to see if that one would work, and I left. And so I'm not saying that's for everybody, but I'm just saying for me, it wasn't about building a stupid resume. I'm an actor. Are you going to help me pay these bills so I can live this dream or not? If not, then I'm gone. That's it. The next question, she's right here. Yeah.
Hey.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Aisha Dolawo. I am so grateful. You guys don't understand what this means to me. Seeing you in real life, Joelle touched me.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Aren't we glad she got her own full episode this
know.
season?
Yes.
Yes. So, I've been watching it sounds weird, but
Thank you.
Ever. And I've been seeing your career just manifest in its way, watching you from from YouTube to Netflix.
Oh my God, are you crying?
No, I'm shaking because you don't understand. When we see people that we can see ourselves in, when we see people who are gunning for their stuff, this is real. To see you grow, manifest, and be able to be in your regalness. We saw you, we're like, yeah, that's it. That's it.
Thank you.
So,
oh my God.
no, man, that's real. So
I told her that show means a lot to people.
No, it really does. It really does. So the question I have for you is, because I've seen your growth from YouTube to now Netflix, I see this collaborative effort that Black people are honing into and you are manifesting through. When I see you, going from Numa Pierre to Lena, I'm just like, this is real. The connectivity in terms of collaborative efforts with Black people is necessary. It allows us to uplift people that we typically won't ever be able to see and connect with. So I ask you, what is your biggest tip in terms of working with interdependence and being a collaborative effort? How do we strengthen collaborative
This is so good.
Yeah, go.
No, you go.
No, you have something,
No.
so start. Because, I be
No, you
energy.
go.
I'm internalizing the
No,
energy.
she
so
shook for you.
No, but.
All right, you close it out.
Okay.
Because you need to gather. She's crying, so she will
know.
get herself together.
I'm a mess.
Okay,
I'm a
all I'm going to say
crybaby.
is this. Who was in Chicago last year when me and Lena Waithe had a talk? Okay, all right, so you're going to hear a repeat, but it's worth it. So what we talked about, because Lena, we're all in the same circle. So Issa, Lena, Justin, all these people, and you, yep, come on.
Yes.
So we're all, first of all, anyway, okay. So, tangents. Okay. What we said last year was, find the people who want to do what you want to do as badly as you do. Don't try to network up to Oprah and be like, I don't have anything yet. That's not when you meet Oprah. You meet Oprah when you're ready to meet Oprah, first of all. But no, like all of them, and you'll speak more to this, but all of them met, like she said, when they were trading unemployment secrets. Like there's no shame, again, in collaborating with people who don't have anything yet technically on paper, because all you have is in you. And that sounds really cliche, but it's true. And you'll see things, start to study all the people who are doing what you want to do, but study their early days. And you'll see that they formed a creative community with people who weren't doing shit at the time either. That's the important part. You need to all rise together. You need to rise together. You need to find people who are doing, if you're doing marketing, find people in ad sales, find people in corporate, whatever. I don't know anything about real jobs. But if you, I tried to use words I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to find the CEO of the company. You don't have to find Steven Spielberg. You don't have to find Ava DuVernay. When you find them, you will be ready. But I think we devalue other people. We got nerve, and come on, because we've all done it. You will look at somebody like, well, they're not doing nothing, so why would I get with them? You're not doing nothing either. So why don't y'all get together and do something?
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to say.
No, that's really good. Gosh, I'm just so overwhelmed. I just want to start off by saying that I too.
I love this. Am I flashing anyone? Can I just?
Yes, relax. So
I love this
I know
so
that
much.
I know we're like wrapping up.
Are we over time?
Okay.
Wait, I want to get in this shot.
Yes. No.
All right.
So I know we're
Leave
like
them
closing
with
up.
real advice,
She's
not
like,
me just yelling.
She's like approaching the stage, and I have so much anxiety. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sequence.
So wait, are we just done? Should I not say? Is it okay? Oh, okay. Okay. I want to quickly say, I saw an intuit and an empath not too long ago.
Wait, you saw what?
An intuit and an empath.
Whoa.
So it's a woman who basically like touched my body and could tell, like it was a whole.
What?
It's a whole nother story. I'll like say it on my Instagram.
Do y'all know
or
what
something.
that is? That's amazing.
So she told me, she affirmed that part of my purpose was to not only act, but to specifically do projects that served Black women.
Hey.
And that's what I always knew. She confirmed that, but so by you saying that means so much to me, because how many Joelles do we have in a lifetime on television? I'm thinking Kimberly Reese, and that's about, you know what I mean? So it means so much for me to be able to play a character that can reach so many women that look like me. But I want to say about engaging your community and your circle is that you have to believe. If you don't believe in the people that you're looking at every day, if they don't believe in you, if they don't pray for you, if they don't, when you're hungry, if they don't bring you food, if they don't, check on you just because they feel like, I feel like she might need me to call her. Whatever it may be, those are the people that you need around you, and they are not always going to be easy to find. But when you find them, stick with them, because when I met Lena, none of us had it. We weren't on TV. We didn't have a TV show. We both lived in shitty apartments, and we're trying to pay our bills. But now, but you can.
She said, my life now.
Yeah, but it will change. But you have to find that tribe and stick with them, because when Lena got up and won that Emmy, we dreamed about that. We dreamed about it. We didn't know. We knew it would happen. We didn't know when. We didn't know how, but we dreamed about it. So to see it happen.
And you dreamed it for her.
And we dreamt it together.
Yeah.
Together.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, when you do get those accolades, whatever they may be, it means nothing if you don't have those people that were there with you from the beginning. It means nothing. Nothing. So I love you all. I'm so sorry it had to be so short, but this is one of the best times of my entire life. Thank you so much.